everyone, it's K-Red, and welcome to this week's Peaceful Pattern. And this week is a little bit different. This week we are doing 3 super simple, super basic patterns that are perfect for fills or to add a little flourish to the page you're working on. All 3 are pretty basic, so I thought I'd combine them into one video and we can enjoy them. So let's get started. So let's start with kelp. So we're going to do step 1 is going to be to make 3 simple lines. And then for step 2, let's go ahead and reproduce it. Sometimes having these that are more on the basic end can be exactly what we need at the moment, when we need something just to kick back and relax with. And what we're going to do on kelp is we're going to draw little petals and leaves on each side. Now there's lots of things you can do with these. You could, of course, aura it afterwards. You could color in every other one. You could color in every one. Just like I said, super easy, basic pattern, but just the prompt we might need in the future. If you're new, welcome to my channel. My name is K-Red. I am not an artist, and I'm not a certified Zentangle instructor. What I am is somebody who has learned, after having a very stressful job for about 25 years, that it is really important to have something when you come home to be able to relax and calm down. And for me, that is doodling and that is Zentangling. But part of the problem, for me, not being an artist, is that I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where to start. And that's when I found Zentangling and doodling. It's changed everything. So what I decided to do at the beginning of 2025 is start a Peaceful Patterns challenge of myself. That each week I would learn a new doodle, upload it here on YouTube, and save a pattern. Then as I go throughout that next week and I'm doing drawings, I can refer back to it. I can see my steps. I can remember how to do it. But beyond that, it's a great way if I don't know what to draw next. I can just flip through. This is what all my tiles look like. I bought these little squares. I'll have a link in my comments if you'd like to buy them. I am not monetized. I don't make any money, but feel free if you like the size of it. I think they're perfect for this. And I could just come through and get an idea of what to do. As you'll see on these, I am not always perfect. My drawings are rough, but we're a family of forgiveness here on this channel. We just get together and do the best that we can do. So like I said, we could do a few different things on these. We can color in every other. I think that is super cute. So that one side is colored in and the other side is not. I think it's a great fill. I think it's a great border. Of course, it would make a great stem of a flower. There are just countless options. You can also do it, like I said, where you aura'd the outside of them and gave each one just a little bit more of a flourish. I have to take my time and concentrate, because if I go too quickly, my auras will quickly get out of control. Or you could just leave them wide open. The other thing you could do if you wanted is you could put just a small color in the middle of each one and give it almost like a bit of a stem. And it is really hard with them being this small. This is a design I would typically do if I was doing a larger version of it. But there you go. You can shade them any number of a different way. But for me, typically, I would just do some shade right down the stem. So I'll put some pencil down. I'll blend it. I always prefer my pencil to be smeared. It's just a personal preference. And there we go. Let's turn the card over. It's called Kelp. It is by Nancy. And I may mispronounce your name, I apologize, but it looks to me like it's Domnauer. I found this pattern and just about every pattern I do on here on tanglepatterns.com. It is a great site, full of inspiration, instruction. You just can't go wrong on that site. Let's punch a hole in it. Usually I try to punch a hole first because I bet you I'm going to go right through that one. Let's see. No, not too bad. I'm fine with where that is. And that will be our first tile today. But for today, we are not done. Now we are ready for our second one. And our second one we're going to do is called Victory. It's by Mildy Weiss. It is a great, great corner fill. It's an option one to do with curves. So let's get started with our first step. Let's go ahead and punch our hole in it first this time so that we can make sure our pattern isn't covered up. And we're going to start with 3 lines. And they can be whatever length you want them. I'm going to do them just like that. And I like them to come together to a bit of a point. So that is step 1. So let's go ahead and come over to step 2. And we're going to do the same thing. 3 lines. I like them to have a bit of a variance in their height. But that will all be contingent on your drawing. And then what we're going to do next is 3 dots. Now, once again, these are all adaptable. So you can make it 3 dots. You can make it 4 dots. You can make it a whole string of them, however many you want. So then let's do that again. And we'll do our dots. And then let's go ahead and do our final step to be just to repeat the exact same thing again. So we're going to go 3 more. I'm just going to go off to the side. You can go whichever direction your paper fills. And that is the awesomeness of Victory. You can make it look like little fireworks, which is why I think the name is so appropriate. Add as few or as many as you want. You can add whatever embellishment you want to these dots coming off. They can be solids. They can be descending in width and height. They can be auraed, all kinds of things. For my sample down here, I think what I'd like to do is some that are curvy. So let's start with some curvy lines instead. And let's go ahead and let the dots diminish in size. And I'm doing more than the 3 because I just always love the way it looks when I just let them go off like that. So then from there, let's go ahead and do a few more like this. And it's just whatever way catches my mind as I'm drawing. And then we can go like this and put another string out. That one's not as curvy. I usually like the dots to have a bit of a wave to them. Whoops. Let's see if we can clean that up a little bit. Get 3 more here. These are a little bit straighter again. And this is definitely one of those where it can be hard to know when to stop. Now, so far, I've avoided them crossing over and behind each other, but you, of course, most certainly can. I have kept them with stems of 3, but you certainly don't have to do that either. What do you think? Maybe just one more over here? Notice how I'll turn my papers. Sometimes that can help me get a different angle or a different view. And we'll do it just like that. Now once again, we can decide how we want to do our shading. There are a few different options. I think I just want a bit of a dark at the base of the threes. So that can just give that just a little bit more weight. Where each one stems off to its own. And all I did was pick up the blending stick from before that still had plenty of pencil on it. Camera doesn't always pick up the blending as much as I can see with my eye here. So sometimes when I've watched the videos, I look back and think that things probably weren't shaded quite enough. But for my eye and for using my card for the future, that tends to be the way I like it, so we're just going to keep going. But no, you can shade as much or as little as you would like. So let's go ahead and flip this one over as well, and it is called Victory. And once again, it is by Mildy Weiss. And I found it on tanglepatterns.com. And you can too. So, 2, let's do one more. I think we got time. We can squeeze one more of these basic, fun, great prompts to have in our kit. And the last one that we are going to do is called Mist. And it's spelled MSST. Trying to decide if I even really want steps on this one, because really, you don't really need steps on here at all. Now, Mist is a Zentangle original pattern, so it is one of the OGs. It's one of the basics. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw it to begin with. I think because you'll see the steps are so easy, I'm not going to need any of the red in the future. And to do it, we're going to start by doing some squiggly lines. Once again, how close they are, their length can all vary. I think I'm going to give myself, let me grab a ruler. I think I'm going to give myself a nice clean line so that I can make this card look super cute. So let's go ahead and give myself a nice clean line to start from. And so we'll scoot these up just a little bit as needed. So that they can stem from the top. So now we have our line started. All we are going to do from here is that same dot process going down. Just as if it's the mist falling down. You can make them so that they're in a line. You can make them so that they vary in size and darkness. There are all kinds of variations you can do. So we'll do these first 4. So let's go ahead and look at some variants. So let's go ahead and we'll start with a big circle. And we'll diminish that circle all the way down to a dot. So that could be kind of cute. Let's do it where we start small and gradually get bigger. I don't do this one very much because it kind of hurts my head because it does seem the opposite of what it should be. I'm going to go back and add the dot on the end of each line. I usually like that as well. Let's go ahead and just do some that are very close together. Now these are all just variations off that same mist. Your traditional mist is going to just be those lines coming down and then dot. Just like this. And so we'll go ahead and we'll end it that same way. Let's go ahead and see if we can get things to end down a little more even. Since I went a little bit longer on those. Cute, right? The other thing I'm going to do is that sometimes I will do these lines like this, but then I will also do a curvy line in between all the way down. So we're going to add that in. That is just a variation that I like to do. And so I just want to give myself that memory prompt in the future that I don't have to be just the regular mist. And that can also just be a straight line going down as well. It doesn't have to be curvy. So that will give us a few variations just like that. So once again, it's called MST, which I'm going to believe is pronounced mist. It is a Zentangle original. Which means you can find it on tanglepatterns.com, which is where I found it. Or you can find it on Zentangle.com. I'm sure they'll have it somewhere on that site as well. So these are the 3 tiles for us this week. Once again, variations off the same, similar things where you're doing just a simple line and a simple extension from it. But super cute, worlds of opportunity. I hope you get to spend this week doing some doodling. I hope you get to spend this week learning something new and trying something new. Be safe. Have fun. Please like and subscribe as always. And I'll see you here next week for our new tangle then. Bye-bye.